Hey guys, I wanted to do a quick orientation video for our lab class that we've got that goes along with our lecture and pairs really well with our lecture for micro. So for lab, I just want to do a quick hello. My name is Kim Subach. I'm going to be your instructor for this lab section. This one pairs with the lecture. They're both 8 weeks and they go hand in hand together. So we're going to have all the announcements right here in the front. There's nothing here in the video right now, but there will be when you see this on the first day of class. Then we got the content browser, which isn't much. There's not a whole lot of content in here just for lab lectures, a little bit more. And then we got the calendar is right here with the important dates of when things are due. All right, so we got the syllabus link here. We always got to go over the syllabus, and I'm always going to tell my students, no matter if you're my student or anybody else's student, please, why is it misbehaving? Please keep a copy of your syllabus. It is always helpful to have a copy of that, if nothing else for your records. But should you transfer someplace else besides Georgia Highlands, sometimes other schools outside the USG may give you pushback about certain classes, and they're going to ask you, what did that class cover? And they may not want to give you credit for it. But if you have the syllabus, you can say exactly what that class covered. So save your syllabi. To do that, all you have to do is click like you want to print it and then save it. It'll have a little download link after you click like you want to print it. So after that little snippet, it's the description about the lab. It pairs hand in hand with the lecture for micro, the prereqs that you need to have to get into micro. Um, Everything for Labster is running through D2L. The labs for Labster are running in D2L. Don't like go to labster.com and try and back end your way into the class. That's not how it's going to work. The stats on using Labster, you need to use it on like your laptop or your desktop. I don't think it works on iPads quite yet. I don't think it's quite ready for tablets, but it does work on regular computers. It used to not work on Chromebooks, but now it does. So if you, speaking of any of my online students, if you need technology. If for some reason your technology goes out, please contact the library. The Cartersville Library specifically, I know because that's the campus I teach out of. They have loaner laptops, but they're a first come, first serve basis. So if you have something going on with your technology and I can't control technology, I'm still going to expect you to get your stuff done when you need to, unless you reach out to me and let me know. Um, if something goes on with your tech, reach out to the Cartersville Library. They have loaner laptops. Sometimes they can loan laptops for an entire semester, and other times they can just loan them for like 2 or 3 days. So you can just get through your midterm or your exam or whatever it is that you need it for, and then get it right back to them. But just so y'all know, that is an option that's available for some of our students. It doesn't cost anything. They just loan it out to you. So just so y'all know what the tech is for the class, you're gonna need a computer for your online class. To get a hold of me, this is the Highlands email that is the best way to get a hold of me is the Highlands email that goes to Outlook, which then I have on my cell phone. So I get that all the time, 24/7. You can always email me at the email right here in the class. But unless I'm physically logged in on my laptop into D2L, I don't know that you emailed me. So if you want to get a hold of me, right away, I would suggest using the Highlands email over the D2L email because maybe you wrote me on like a Friday night and I'm not gonna check stuff until like Sunday afternoon. So if you needed me quickly, the Highlands email is the way to go. I told y'all I teach on Tuesdays, Thursdays in the Cartersville campus for my majors Bio 2 class. So that is my office phone number there, this phone number here. Um, and so if you want to set up an office hours meeting, we can do that face to face on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but we can also meet online too. My online office hours are on Mondays and Wednesdays from 11 to 12:30. But I also recognize that a lot of my students might be just like me. I am a working full-time professional. I've got a family. I've got 3 teenagers. And I'm also a student too. I'm trying to wrap up my dissertation this semester at Valdosta State. And so I understand about time management and how these hours might not work for you. So if you need hours and a meeting outside of this time, just let me know and maybe we can try and brainstorm a time that works best if you would like to meet and go over whatever you would like to go over. But those are the office hours. To book an office hours appointment within these hours, please click this little link right here that says book time with Kim Subach. Just click that and that will lock in your time slot so nobody else books that time for you. And then it will email you just like we've got a link here for the Microsoft Teams. It'll email you a link for the Teams meeting. And that's how we'll meet online. And then if you want to meet in person, still click the link, please, the book time with Kim Subach so I know you're coming from 8 to 9:30 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I try to respond to emails as soon as I can, as whenever possible. I try to respond within a reasonable time limit. So hopefully within 24 hours during the week. And then on the weekend, like I said, I'm busy just like y'all are. So it might be a little bit longer, closer to 48 hours. The required materials, everything in lab is through Labster. Like you are going to learn each of the lab exercises are run through Labster, which is like a virtual simulation kind of software. It's really fun. It's really cool. It mimics the lab. It is never going to replace firsthand use of lab materials. So if you are trying to thinking about that you need this because like that's the field you want to go into, then I don't want to suggest you leave this class. But if you want those hands-on skills, you need to do the hands-on lab. This lab is great, Labster is great, and it really simulates stuff, but it's not the same as like doing your own plating technique and learning how to use aseptic techniques for those. But the simulations are good, they are virtual, and that's how this lab runs online. These are the different topics that we cover in micro. Um, Anytime we have an online class, anytime we have a class period in general, at Georgia Highlands, since run through D2L, all of our D2L courses track everything. They track when you log on, what did you look at, how long did you look at it? They track all that stuff. So just so y'all know, um, no matter what. We know when you're logging on and not logging on, but you must be logging in and checking. It's your responsibility, like as an online student, just like it is for me as an online student. You're responsible for your time management and getting your stuff done on time. Um, Yeah, we have multiple simulations. I don't allow makeups. I do need you to get your stuff done on time, but I do have some drops in there because I also know that, sometimes things happen. Sometimes you just miss a deadline. So I have some drops placed in there so that if you made, a mistake, we all make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. So if you happen to make a mistake, the drops should allow you to still have, if you make one mistake. If you repeatedly make mistakes, those drops are not going to cover you. But if you make a mistake once, you're good on the lab exercises. Our grade scale at Georgia Highlands is a 10-point grading scale. Um, and then you can see all of the lab exercises. So we got 13 of them for micro. And then I'm going to take your top 10. I'm going to take your top 10. Your lowest three will drop. So like I said, if you missed, that week's exercises and we had 2 exercises that week, you should still be able to make 100% on those lab exercises because of those drops. But you can't make a habit of missing every deadline. That's not going to work. You will get a 0 when you miss them, but I do have the built-in drops. Um, the lab midterm and the lab final, those questions are verbatim questions from Labster. So while you're in Labster, there's going to be this little tablet. I'll try and log in and show you one and in the future, but the tablets have this little theory section on there. So when you are doing these questions, you can double check the theory. So like maybe you keep getting the answer wrong. Go to the theory and that will, help shed light on what the question is looking for as far as the answer on that. Those questions are what you will see verbatim on the midterm and the final. So you can go back. I have the Labster simulation set up that you can go back and take them as many times as you want. The first grade you get on them, that's what goes in the grade book. Your very first grade goes in the grade book for the lab exercise grade, but you can take them as many times as you want. And I want y'all to go back and review. So when it's midterm and you're like, I forgot what lab exercise safety, what questions were on it, you can go back. You can go back and look at those. So that way everyone's midterm and final should be perfect because you've already seen the questions and you know what the answers are. But that's how this class is going to run. You got to do your exercises on time. And then the exams are literally the questions that you're seeing in the exercises themselves. Um, yeah, the lab exams are going to be timed just like my lectures are timed. You would have a timed exam. They're going to use Respondus Lockdown Browser and Monitor. I do watch those. It's just like I would in a face-to-face class. They are videoing you, watching you take your test, and it would be the same as me watching you in a face-to-face environment. I do watch them. Um, you cannot have anything outside to help you on any of my tests in any of my classes. I do allow a blank piece of paper if you feel the need that you need a blank piece of paper, scratch piece of paper. When Respondus prompts you to do the environmental survey, screening your environment, I do need y'all to do that. Show me your workspace. Like take your camera and show me your immediate workspace. I don't need to see Like I just took the GRE the other day, and it makes you literally go into like the four corners of your room and look under the table. I'm not that invasive. I just need to see your workspace. What's around your computer here? So show me like your table, what's, behind the computer, that immediate workspace. Show me that. And if you decide to use a blank piece of paper, show me that during that environmental scan. Like, here's my blank piece of paper and here's my pen. But that's all you're ever allowed on any of my exams is that. So please show me that during the scan. Your syllabus quiz should cover the same things as a regular test. It will walk you through the same not simulation, the same exercise steps of scanning your environment, showing your ID, all that good stuff. So you get to practice that with the syllabus quiz, and then when it comes to midterm, you'll know how it all is going to work. Again, I don't take late lab exercises because I've got those 3 built-in drops. So try and make sure to get your stuff done on time. And that way it's only dropping, the ones that you might have scored poorly on, which is always nice, to get your best 10 grades in there. As far as our schedule, I've got everything put in here. I have it, in here on Tuesdays and Thursdays, which is kind of how I've set up lecture for my same students. But I've got things posted on Tuesday, and then you have them due on the Thursday. So those are what we're covering each week. And you can see we've got, 2 exercises, 2 exercises, 2 exercises. We've got 3 on this very last one in September on the 23rd. We've got intro to immunology. We've got a lab exercise on ELISA testing, which is really cool. And then, of course, we had to keep with the times, and Labster has one about COVID specifically. So I had to put that one in there too. And then you can see the midterm is going to be right after, it's going to be September 4th. And then the lab final is going to be the same as the lecture final day. Everything on the 8 weeks has to be done by October 1st. It has to be done by then. So that's the dates here that I have in the syllabus. You can see the policies on here. Again, we talked about not using anything to help you on exams. It's nothing but a blank piece of paper. Please don't break academic integrity. Please don't do that. There's no unauthorized assistance. Please try and set up in a room where you've got nice, peace and quiet. I know that's not always possible. I almost always have a dog around me or something around me, or a kid busted in telling me something. But try your best. Try your best. I understand, you can't help when people come in when you're trying to do a test, but try your best to try and keep yourself isolated, and stay in your quiet bubble as best you can, like you would, when you were trying to take a test on campus. Um, if something comes up and you miss a exam, please let me know as soon as possible. Let me know as soon as possible. I don't allow makeups for lab exercises, but if something happened, like you got sick and you're in the hospital, let me know. And we can try and make up those exams. We got the lab midterm and the lab final. But on the lab final, I can't push that date back. Those dates are set in stone, and I don't make up those dates. Somebody else does. So we can't make up the finals. Like, those are posted when they're posted. So if that happens, like, you gotta let me know right away, right away. Yeah, so that's covering the syllabus. Let's go back to the content really fast. We are going to have, the welcome here page with all my tips and tricks that I give everybody. And I don't care what class it is, I'm going to give you all the same tips and tricks because different classes may use different study techniques. So I've got them all in here. I gave y'all in the syllabus my face-to-face office phone number. But if y'all would like to text me, this is my Google Voice phone number. If you'd like to send me a text, again, here's my Highlands number. And then here is the link for the booking. If you'd like to make an office hours appointment, it's here at the bottom of the welcome page. But we've got all these different tips here. We got another link to the syllabus. We also have another link to the schedule. Me personally, I keep these open. Like, in my brain, it's going a million miles an hour, and you can see all of the windows I have open in my browser, which drives my partner crazy. But that's how my brain works. So I will personally keep like the schedule page open so I can keep track of stuff. As a student myself, I will go through on the first day of the class and put in all the dates on my cell phone in the calendar too. Like, I'll put in the papers and exams and all of that. That's due in my phone. So whatever works for you. If you want to bookmark this page in your browser, if you want to write it all down in your paper planner, whatever works. But this is also the schedule. So it's here on this website here. It's in the syllabus. It's going to be in the weekly announcements, and it's going to be on the calendar too. So there are 4 places. So hopefully nobody is confused about what is due and when it's due. We're all on the same page. Going back. These are the lab simulations. This is the tech you need to use Labster. Don't worry about the dashboard. That's just for me. That's where the dashboard shows me, what you looked at, how long you looked at it, what was your grade on the first time, did you do a second attempt? All of that is in the dashboard. I can see all of that, but y'all don't need to worry about that. As far as the labs themselves, those are what you click. Click those within the course. Again, don't try and go to labster.com and sneak your way back in. I don't even think you can do that anymore. But that's what you click. You'll click the link for each exercise, and then you just hit play, and it will start pulling up, loading the lab exercise, and you will virtually go into this lab and go through the steps. It will talk about the tablet. It will show you the tablet. You can see the theory about each lab exercise. And again, if you get stuck on a question, go to the theory. It usually is going to have the answers in there somewhere about that. Sometimes you might get stuck on a step within the exercise. Try and back up and see exactly what it's trying to do. Sometimes you need to look around because whatever it is that's asking you to do is off screen, and you need to move to a different place on the workspace. But that is how the lab exercises
Welcome to
go.
Laughter. You are about
Here's
to
our
start the
tablet.
Biosafety Level 3 simulations. Biosafety Level 3 is the second most
So
dangerous
here's the tablet. It's going to go through stuff. See how I was telling you all about the theory button. And then you can see the images. We haven't progressed enough to unlock any of them, but they're there. So this is it. You will run through these exercises, and we have 2, sometimes 3 due in a week. Sometimes it's just 1. But these are the lab exercises. Again, the first grade you make on them, that's what goes into the grade book for the class, but you can take them over and over and over again. I'm going to take your top 10 lab exercises out of the 13 that we've got for the semester. And that's how these run. So this is the Labster exercises. If you have any questions about anything else, I've got the grades already set up the grade book. They should show you, automatically how you're doing, what your class average is. You can see these are all the lab exercises put in here. The lab midterm, the lab final. We don't need that whole grade section there. I'll take that out. And then we have a final letter grade that I've got in, and a midterm letter grade that I like to put in sometimes too, just so you'll know where you stand. The final letter grade I like to post because oftentimes like banner score doesn't release until at least a week after classes end, if not sometimes 2 weeks. So I like to put your letter grade in there so ahead of time. So that's in the grade book. Also, a little tip too, I like to tell all my students, any class that has their grade book posted and has it, calculating like it should be, you can go in and check your progress. And I always suggest this to students too, no matter if it's my class or somebody else's class. So your class progress, you're going to go in, you're going to click your profile picture, and then under here in this menu, it's going to say progress somewhere. It's going to say progress, and you're going to see 3 numbers. There's going to be a class average. That's currently where you're at present day. This is your average in class right now. Then you're going to have a maximum, and you're going to have a minimum. And the maximum, they're going to take all of the lab exercises that you have left, and they're going to put 100% in there. They're going to put 100% for your exam. They're going to put 100% for your final exam. Any grade items that you have left, the maximum is going to plug 100% in there to see mathematically what you could still do. The minimum is going to plug a big fat 0 in for all of the graded items that you still have left, and nobody wants to look at the minimum. But if you're ever curious about any class, not just mine, and you go in there, look under your profile picture, click your profile picture, the down menu, and go to progress. And then you can see your class average, your maximum, what you can still achieve mathematically, and your minimum is in there. So if you have any questions, please reach out. Again, the Highlands email is the best way to get a hold of me, but you can email me in the class within D2L. And then if you need to book any office hours, let me know. Click the link in the syllabus, and it should allow you to do that. But if you have any questions, reach out. Bye, guys. Let's have a great semester.